You might think having a US passport is like holding a golden ticket to anywhere on the planet. But nope. There are actually some places on Earth where Americans are flat out banned from setting foot. And I'm not talking about you need extra paperwork banned. I mean straight up not allowed. Some of these bans are for political reasons, some for safety, and some are just, well, kind of strange. But here's the thing. The reasons are rarely what you think they are. So buckle in, because by the end of this video, you're going to have a list of dream destinations that you'll probably never be able to visit unless something changes big time in the world. North Korea, the ultimate no-go zone. If there's one country that really rolls out the unwelcome mat for Americans, it's North Korea. Since 2017, the US government has made it illegal for citizens to travel there without a special permission slip. And spoiler alert, they don't hand those out like candy. And why? Safety and politics. Tensions between the US and North Korea have been rocky for decades, but things got especially strict after the tragic case of Otto Warmbier, the American student who was arrested for allegedly stealing a propaganda poster and later died after being detained. The US basically said, okay, that's it, nobody goes. Even if you could go, you'd have to join an official guided tour, hand over your phone for inspection, and absolutely not wander off alone. One wrong move, like taking a photo of the wrong building, could land you in prison. Iran, unless you're ready for a paperwork nightmare. Iran has some of the most stunning architecture and cultural history in the world. But if you're American, visiting isn't as simple as booking a flight. The Iranian government allows Americans in only through pre-approved guided tours, and only if you get a visa with intense scrutiny. That means background checks, interviews, and sometimes complete rejection without explanation. Why so complicated? The US and Iran haven't had formal diplomatic relations since 1979. And the trust factor? Pretty much at zero. The thing is, the ban isn't total like North Korea's, but in practice, most Americans never get approved to go. So, unless you've got endless patience and luck on your side, this one's off the bucket list. Syria, a war zone you're not welcome. In Syria used to be a huge draw for history lovers, with ancient cities like Aleppo and Palmyra. But years of civil war have left the country in ruins, and extremely dangerous for visitors. The US State Department has a level 4 do not travel warning for Syria, and if you somehow tried to sneak in, you could face not only life-threatening danger, but also legal trouble back home. Armed conflict, terrorism, kidnappings, it's basically a checklist of every possible travel nightmare. And here's the kicker. Americans are also banned from doing any business with Syrian entities, so even the idea of traveling there can get messy legally. In short, Syria is a hard no right now, and probably will be for a long while. Libya, visas denied, period. Libya is another spot where Americans are almost universally refused entry. There's no official "We hate Americans" sign posted, but good luck getting a visa. The US Embassy in Libya closed back in 2014 due to escalating violence, and the country's been in political chaos ever since. Multiple governments claiming control, armed militias roaming around, and a collapsed infrastructure mean it's not exactly a beach holiday destination. Even if you did get in, the risk of kidnapping is so high that the State Department says, don't even think about it. Yemen, off limits for your own safety. Yemen is one of those places with heartbreaking beauty, mountains, beaches, ancient architecture, but Americans not invited. A brutal civil war has made Yemen one of the most dangerous countries on Earth. The US Embassy there shut down in 2015, and the official travel warning basically says, if you go, we can't help you. Terrorism, kidnappings, famine, it's just not a situation where tourism is possible. The sad truth is, even humanitarian workers struggle to get in safely, so for regular travelers, this one's permanently off the table. Somalia, where piracy is still a thing. Somalia has a fascinating history and a beautiful coastline, but that coastline is also infamous for something else: piracy. And I'm not talking about the Johnny Depp kind. On top of piracy, Somalia has been dealing with terrorism, kidnappings, and lawlessness for decades. The US hasn't had an embassy there since 1991, and travel warnings couldn't be more blunt. Don't go. If you're American, entering Somalia isn't outright illegal, but the chances of making it there safely and back out are slim. It's the kind of place where even journalists go with armed security and still take huge risks. Oh. Bhutan. Technically allowed, but almost impossible. Here's a weird one. Bhutan, the tiny Himalayan kingdom famous for measuring gross national happiness, isn't outright banning Americans. But they do make it nearly impossible to visit casually. You can't just book a flight and show up. You need to arrange an official guided tour through a government-approved company, pay a hefty daily fee, often over $250 per person per day, and stick to a strict itinerary. It's not about disliking Americans. They limit all tourists to preserve their culture and environment. But the cost and red tape basically mean only a handful of Americans ever go. Cuba, a complicated kind of ban. Cuba! It's only 90 miles from Florida, but for Americans, it might as well be halfway around the world. The US government doesn't ban Americans from physically going to Cuba, but it does make it illegal to travel there purely for tourism. Yeah. You have to qualify under one of 12 approved categories like educational trips, journalism, or humanitarian work. Less than 0.05. If you ignore that rule and go anyway, you could face fines back home. Though, let's be honest, plenty of Americans sneak in through Mexico or Canada. But officially, you're not supposed to go sip mojitos on the beach there just for fun. Politics change fast, and the list of no-go countries for Americans could get longer. Sanctions, diplomatic disputes, or security risks can pop up overnight. That's why, if you have a dream destination in mind, it's smart to check travel advisories before you start planning. Because nothing's worse than booking your dream trip and then realizing you can't legally go.